Glass walks. Imagine you're invited to a secret society meeting, and instead of the usual mysterious handshakes or cryptic Latin chants, someone gestures dramatically to a path of shattered glass. Now you understand why the meeting invite said, "No footwear allowed." Glass walking is a ceremonial activity where participants walk barefoot across broken glass shards. It's often framed as a test of courage, trust, or metaphysical ability to transcend fear and pain. The idea is to prove how tough you are. How tough am I? I ate a bowl of nails for breakfast without any milk. Or perhaps just to impress the society's elders enough that they don't make you sweep up afterward. But it's not a reckless rite where you just run across a path full of razor-sharp glass like you're late for the bus. Instead, society members will tell you to maintain steady steps and trust the process enough that whoever prepped this ritual knew what they were doing. That's because the glass shards are often spread flat instead of pointing the jagged edges upward. When you're careful with your steps, weight is evenly distributed across your foot. This minimizes the risk of cuts and a quick trip to the secret society first aid clinic. It's essentially a case of no pain, no membership perks. The glass walk symbolizes conquering your inner fears and demons and trusting your fellow secret society pals. After all, you can't be in the group if you're unwilling to stroll together on the world's sharpest carpet. Cake of light. It may sound like a huge dessert sent by the gods from up above the heavens, but the cake of light isn't something straight out of a magical baking show. It's not even about a decadent dessert you crave after a heavy meal. Instead, it's more of a strange rite, part of the mystical tradition of Thelema, founded by the infamous Aleister Crowley. The cake of light is a sacred element in Thelemic rituals, particularly in the Gnostic Mass, their central religious ceremony. Think of it as their equivalent of communion bread, but with a twist that makes it unique and maybe a little eyebrow-raising. It's not really a cake in the traditional sense. It's made from a blend of honey, wine, and a dash of flour. That sounds pretty innocent, like a Pinterest recipe gone mystical, but it gets literally and symbolically spicy when you add oil and blood into the mix. The addition of blood represents life and connects the participant with the forces of creation. In some versions, there's also a nod to sexual symbolism, with ingredients tied to human reproduction. Crowley loved to shake things up, mixing mysticism and rebellion against societal norms, like a cosmic chef tossing in controversy for flavor. The cake is consecrated and consumed in the ceremony, representing the union with divine energy. It's not just snacking, but a metaphysical experience designed to connect the practitioner to their higher self and the cosmos. Think of it as the cosmic equivalent of those energy bars people eat before marathons, except this one claims to fuel your connection to the cosmos, not your cardio. Fire walk. Going through a fire walk is like signing up as a human marshmallow in a pizza oven, but instead of looking like a snack, you're said to come out a new person. That's basically the reason why some secret societies include firewalks in their rituals. The firewalk involves crossing barefoot over hot embers that can burn up to a blistering 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's popular at secret gatherings, motivational events, spiritual awakenings, and the occasional fun get-together. After all, nothing says "we're in this together" quite like matching scorch marks across your soles. If you're scratching your head wondering why anyone would voluntarily barbecue their feet, the logic goes like this. Overcoming the fear of fire is symbolic of conquering fear. Many believe that if you can sizzle your way across hot coals without collapsing, you can conquer anything life throws your way. Believe it or not, there's a touch of science in all this. Despite being hotter than a stovetop, embers aren't especially conductive, meaning they don't roast you the second you step down. Done correctly, this ritual is more of a controlled toasty experience than an outright roast, assuming of course you don't stop for a selfie mid-walk. In some secret societies, including the Freemasons, firewalking isn't just for fun, but an actual test of loyalty and courage. If you're not willing to walk through fire for the group, maybe they figure you wouldn't jump into other hot situations for them either. Blood binding ceremony. Forget about personal hygiene and cross-contamination in a secret society, because no one cares about that when you're in a blood-binding ceremony. This is a ritual that essentially says blood is thicker than water. In blood-binding rituals, different groups or secret societies symbolically or literally mix their blood to signify loyalty, unity, or an unbreakable bond. Now, when it comes to actually using blood, these ceremonies have some serious ritualistic drama. Think of a dark room lit by a few candles. People around you wear robes, giving the scene an eerie and mysterious vibe. It's basically a horror movie set, minus the director yelling, "Cut!" Meanwhile, you might have to prick a finger, cut a small part of your palm, or have some other way of drawing a few drops. Exchanging blood creates a physical link between everyone involved, sealing promises or oaths. Think of it as the ultimate "we are in this together" pact. Historically, these blood-binding rituals are ancient and cross-cultural, with indigenous tribes, Vikings, and even medieval knights partaking in their own versions. They believed blood held a person's essence or spirit, and mixing it would tie everyone's life forces together like the world's goriest group text. If one person's life went sideways, they all might feel the sting. The Naked Truth Ceremony. It might sound like you're auditioning for a role on that famous adult site everyone loves to visit once in a while, but there's no casting couch for a naked truth ceremony. Instead, you're going to be stripping down to your birthday suit to bare your soul instead of your body. Think of it as a spiritual striptease, with less bow chicka wow wow, and more wow, that's brave. The Naked Truth Ceremony basically involves reciting vows and removing your robe in front of everyone to show your full nakedness without feeling shame or regret. You'd think everyone in the room is judging your love handles or how big you are downstairs. Instead, they judge your reaction and willingness to show your true self to them. For secret societies, clothes or robes symbolize masks you wear to hide in the real world. You may think you're acting like your genuine self at work or around friends, but your clothes symbolize society holding you back and telling you what to do. For secret societies, clothes are the villain in your life story. So by stripping in front of your fellow members of a secret society, you're showing them who you are without anything covering you. It's finally an excuse to go commando without anyone judging you. It's not about them seeing your junk or that mole on your right butt cheek. Instead, it's more about a symbolic way of not being ashamed to be yourself in front of people you need to trust. It's also about vulnerability, because clothes also symbolize protection. By taking your armor off, you're saying, "Look, I trust you enough to let it all hang out," literally. Bohemian Grove Cremation of Care Ceremony. Picture a summer camp for the elite. Men in expensive suits gathered in the woods of Northern California, away from their daily lives, engaging in a theatrical performance. At the heart of it all is this ritual. That's basically the Bohemian Grove Cremation of Care Ceremony, where a retreat from responsibility is more about lighting things on fire than roasting marshmallows. The Bohemian Club isn't necessarily a secret society, but is more of a gentleman's group that includes powerful figures from politics, business, and the arts. Each year they head to Bohemian Grove, their secluded retreat where they hold a unique ceremony to symbolically burn away the stresses and worries of their everyday lives. It's their way of leaving the cares of the outside world behind and unwinding in their own memorable style. Think of it as a High School Musical without the singing, but with more stock options. You've heard of burning the midnight oil. Here they're burning their midnight anxieties. By participating in this ritual, they free themselves of personal concerns, allowing them to bond with others and enjoy a few days of retreat without the weight of responsibility. But the dramatic part is that the ceremony takes place at night, and attendees gather around a massive 40-foot owl statue made of stone. This owl represents wisdom and, some say, symbolizes the mysterious Bohemian Club. It's got a watchful eye on the proceedings like a forest bouncer, making sure no one accidentally has too much fun and spills corporate secrets. In the ritual, they cremate an effigy of Care, a symbolic figure representing stress, problems, and responsibilities. The effigy is set on fire, often with dramatic chanting and music to signify the burning away of these cares. If regular people would rather de-stress by ordering pizza and binge-watching Netflix, these rich guys would rather burn stuff. Living burial initiation. Let's say you join a secret society, but they're unsure whether or not you're fit for them. They must test your dedication to the group and your willingness to die for them. That's what living burial initiations are there for. Think of it as extreme hide and seek while you're left questioning your life choices in a coffin. While it may sound like you're about to go 6 feet under for good, a living burial initiation isn't as scary as it sounds. If secret societies intended to kill off their new members, they wouldn't have any members. Instead, the idea is symbolic, often practiced by groups emphasizing personal transformation or spiritual rebirth. The candidate, also known as the initiate, is placed in a coffin, or sometimes just buried lightly under soil or enclosed in a dark space. It's all very dramatic, like it's a low-budget horror movie, but the point is to simulate death as a way to inspire rebirth. But these initiations aren't meant to scare you senseless, even though the phrase buried alive will most likely make your heart skip a beat. This ritual symbolizes shedding the old self to emerge renewed, stronger, and wiser. While buried, initiates initiates often hear sacred chants or messages, helping them reflect on their life and the values they aim to embody moving forward. In some versions, this time might be just a few intense minutes. It could last hours in others, with oxygen flow carefully monitored so nobody turns the metaphor into reality. Finally, when the lid opens, or you're dug up, it's like a victorious gasp of fresh air. Emerging from the grave, you're celebrated as having been reborn. You're now a full-fledged member. Hopefully, someone remembered to dust you off. Mock executions. Some secret societies believe that fear is a good bonding agent, kind of like a love potion that gets you attached to your fellow members. That's why mock executions are some of the rituals they use to freak you out a little, but get you to bond with one another. Mock executions in secret societies are exactly what they sound like. They are dramatic, staged rituals designed to make your heart race, your palms sweat, and your sense of humor wonder if it missed the invite. They are part theater, part adrenaline rush, and often meant to test the limits of your courage. Imagine being blindfolded and taken to a mysterious room where someone declares, "You have been judged with death," all while people are chanting around you. Someone might even give a final speech before your death, as your life flashes before your eyes. But it's all fake, even if you're so nervous you're sweating buckets. But mock executions have been around since medieval secret societies. For them, nothing says brotherhood better than the fear of meeting your maker, only to discover it's all for laughs. They were initiation tools to humble recruits and make them appreciate their rebirth after their metaphorical death. Think of it as an extreme team-building exercise, without anyone's head getting chopped off. While it sounds scary, these rituals aren't all doom and gloom because they're more like high school drama plays. But if you do plan on joining a secret society, you might still want to ensure they're using a rubber axe instead of a real one. Mystery box test. Let's say you're in a secret society and taken to a dark chamber. A mysterious wooden box is placed in front of you. No instructions, no hints, just a vague whisper of, "Trust yourself." This is the classic mystery box test. No, it's not a game show where you win $1 million. Instead, it's a ritual where the prize is a few friends with millions of dollars in their bank accounts. The premise of the mystery box test is to gauge your ability to handle the unknown. A true rite of passage for those daring enough to enter the world of the enigmatic. But what's in the box? Oh, that's the twist, because it could be anything. For some, it might be a harmless object, like a feather or a key. Others might encounter something slimy or spiky to test their courage. But the test isn't just about the box's contents. Instead, it's about your reaction. Do you stay calm? Do you panic? Do you immediately want to quit and bolt out the door? Your actions are all being watched, as if you're in a reality show you don't even know you auditioned for. How you react to the mystery box is important for many secret societies. After all, their members often deal with the unknown, whether it's hidden knowledge, cryptic missions, or just figuring out how to keep their gatherings secret in a world obsessed with social media. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. You don't want your secret handshake accidentally trending on TikTok. Fake cannibalism. You're in the middle of a secret society ritual, and it's not about chanting, dark candles, and cryptic phrases. Instead, the ritual is a meal, so good you'd think Gordon Ramsay is in the kitchen screaming at aspiring chefs. But the twist here is that you're made to think you're eating human flesh. That's what fake cannibalism is all about. Imagine being served food shaped like human toes, or a huge hunk of steak that supposedly came from your neighbor's thigh. Suddenly, it's no longer a gourmet meal, but is more of a torture chamber designed to mess with your mind and appetite. But while dinner may look fresh out of a secret human meat freezer, everything's fake. If you're wondering why you're being made to think you're eating human flesh, it's all about challenging your comfort zone. Secret societies like messing with your mind and willingness to do what they tell you, even if it means eating spaghetti that looks like human intestines. It's also about camaraderie, because there's something special about being all on the same page while you and your fellow members feast on cupcakes shaped like human hearts. But there's also a deeper meaning behind it. Secret societies supposedly practice this ritual to pay homage to ancient Aztec traditions, where people eat human body parts to become one with the gods, who have an appetite for human sacrifices. So by conducting fake cannibalism, secret societies are also communing with the divine. We do not ask you to be part of some weird ritual to show us your loyalty. All you have to do is subscribe down below. The Skull and Bones Ritual. Skull and bones might sound like like a club for pirates, but don't expect any parrots or treasure maps here. This is actually a secret society that was infamous during the early 1800s for its rituals. These rituals, however, are less about walking the plank and more about initiating the elite of the elite. Skull and Bones is one of America's college breeding grounds for future power players. Rooted in the hallowed halls of Yale University, this society selects only a chosen few students so privileged and influential that the very air around them seems cloaked in entitlement and old money. These kids are so rich they make a yacht look working class. But the honor of entering this shadowed circle comes at a cost, and the initiation ritual isn't exactly a cakewalk for folks used to life with a platinum spoon. The details aren't clear because we're talking about a secret society. It wouldn't be a secret if we knew everything that happens, like a sports play-by-play, but the new Bonesmen are brought into a spooky, windowless building with the ominous name The Tomb. This place looks like something out of a gothic horror movie, minus the vampire cameo. With a name like Skull and Bones, the aesthetic is perfect. One of the initiation rites allegedly involves lying in a coffin and sharing one's deepest secrets, fears, and embarrassing middle school moments. This coffin confessional is meant to strengthen the bond between members, because nothing says lifelong loyalty like spilling your soul to everyone in the room. Rumor has it there are even symbolic gestures involving actual bones, and maybe even the skull of Geronimo, which takes show and tell to a new level.